Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's get started. Starting Jenkins. Restores Apache Tomcat bin. Startup data switch. Jenkins. See, I have Java 11. Okay, that is the reason Jenkins is not working. Let me uninstall it quickly. I installed it for some reason. Uninstalled 17 before. Now I have 17. Let's restart Jenkins once. ES-EF for Java. / startup data search. Okay. So in the last session, we discussed about setting up the master agent setup, setting up master agent architecture, correct? Today, I'm going to explain a new topic called pipelines. What's that? Pipeline. So far, we created freestyle projects, correct? Gamut Cart is a freestyle project. So if you go to new item, for example, Flipkart, okay. Here, we have another project called pipeline project. This is freestyle project, and this is a pipeline project. So freestyle project is kind of the graphical way of automating your processes, graphical way. Whereas a pipeline project is a coding way of automating your processes, build and deployment or whatever. The limitation here, if you go to Gamut Card, which is a freestyle project, if you go to configure, for example, whatever configurations you have here, you can use only these configurations, correct? What if you want to do something extra? Of course, you can have some plugins. Again, there is a limit. Whatever options you have graphically here, you can configure only this. Say, for example, I'll give you a scenario, right? I'm cloning the code, okay? I'm compiling the code, and then I'm running some unit test cases. You remember it? If we run an install command, that will run the unit test cases, correct? If 100% unit test cases are successful, then only I want to deploy the code. Otherwise, I don't want to deploy the code. You cannot do that here, right? So any such things. For example, yesterday that we discussed about something, right? Say, for example, I'm running a job in a slave node agent mission. What if that agent mission goes down? If that agent mission goes down in the middle, job will fail. But I want to re-trigger the job, retry 2 times, 3 times, so that if you re-trigger the job, that will be executed on some other agent mission, right? How do you, hook, or how do you develop that logic and then place here? There's a limitation, correct? So that is the reason for complex workflows, for automating complex processes, usually we go with a pipeline project. If it's a pipeline project, you can write the code, whatever you want. You can write the code. If it's a pipeline project type, you can write the code. It's a code, right? So whatever you write, same way your process gets automated. So you can do anything with pipeline project because it's a coding way of automating the process. There are a few more things. I'll explain them later. See, this orchestrates orchestrates long-running activities that can span multiple build agents. For example, I have few things, which are independent independent tasks. If it's a freestyle, you can perform them one by one in a sequence. Task 1, task 2, task 3, and so on. But these tasks are independent tasks. I can run them in parallel. Got the point? Task 1 takes 10 minutes, task 2 10 minutes, task 3 10 minutes, and so on. What if I run, if I can run all these 3 tasks in parallel? Instead of 30 minutes, I can get something done within 10 minutes, correct? So you cannot run those things parallelly here. If it's a pipeline, you can parallelly run multiple tasks on different, say task 1 will run on agent 1, task 2 on agent 3, task 3 on agent 4. So I can run things in parallel. That will save a lot of your build and deployment time. You can build, deploy the applications very fast. Orchestrates long-running activities that can span multiple agents, suitable for building pipelines and are organizing complex activities that do not easily fit in freestyle. If things cannot easily fit in freestyle job, if things cannot be done easily in freestyle job, go with the pipeline. Because here you can write the coding. What does it mean, right? What do you mean by if it cannot fit? I gave you 2 things, right? Based on, something I want to, based on some event, right? Based on some result, for example, I want to decide whether to deploy the code or not, and things like that. So otherwise, stick to freestyle project, because freestyle project is a simple way of getting your automation done. If you can get your automation in simple ways, why you want to go and then unnecessarily complicate it, writing a lot of code and things like that? Okay, you are good with coding today. What, you leave the project and then somebody else come? What if that person is not good with coding? So unnecessarily don't just go for the pipeline. If you can do something easily with freestyle project. Okay. So try to get things done with the freestyle. If you're unable to do something, go with the pipeline. That's the thing. That's how you select. Okay, this is how pipeline projects work. Understand that? Any questions you have there? So I'm going to create a pipeline project now. This is your pipeline project. Okay. So I said it's a coding way, right? So in pipeline project, I write some code here. I write some code. See, you also have some, um, manual options like using graphical way. You can also configure few things. Plus, here you write some code, right? We write that code in a file called Jenkins file. Jenkins file. Remember, it's a caps J, okay? J is in caps. File name is Jenkins file. File name can be anything. Name can be anything, but as a convention, usually most of the times we write it like Jenkins, capital J. You'll understand if the file is different now, how do you take care of it? Don't worry about that now. Here I read the code. I read the code for what? Clone, build, deployment, for sending the email, right? I want to run something in parallel, right? Blah, blah, blah. You read the code. Okay. So that's how you configure it. So you execute this, trigger this, right? Right? This will execute the code, correct? This will execute the code. So first trigger it, it'll execute the code. Okay. And so you execute this. What this will do, it will clone, build, it'll execute the code, okay? Deploy, email, blah, 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 blah. That's how it works. Simple, easy. Any questions before I create a pipeline project and then write this code? Okay. One second. Okay. So I'm just thinking whether to explain Jenkins file first or configure it first. Okay, let me create the project. Okay, let me create the project and then I'll explain you the code. Okay, right. So I'm going to create a new project, pipeline project. Okay, new item. Then it's a gamut cart hyphen say pipeline, for example, project name. I'll use something like this. See, I'm selecting the second option now. Okay, pipeline. Say okay. Give the description. It also has some, graphical options plus code. This pipeline handles, okay, production deployments, something like this. You see here, pipeline. If you select the pipeline project there, you'll get this option. You can write the script here. We read this code, correct? You can write the code directly here also. Here also you can write the code. But usually we don't write the code here. What do? Usually we write the code in Jenkins file. Okay. So you have to select that file right now. Understand this? I've created the project. I'm creating the project. Now I have the code in Jenkins file, correct? The Jenkins file is there in our gamut cart repository in our project code. So where will be this file? This file will be in your project. So I come here. I say there is a pipeline script. There is one option called pipeline script. So I don't want to write the code here. Instead, I'm going to ask Jenkins. I'm going to tell Jenkins, I have that code in my project repository. Take it from there. Pipeline script from SCM. Pipeline script from source code management tool. Select that. You want to see that? Java cut application. I mean source code. git clone. There is a file here called Jenkins file. You want to see how this looks like quickly? See, I have written some code here. This is for the clone. This is for build. This is for running your unit test cases. And this is for your deployment. Similarly, you can write code for anything. This is a very simple code. Don't worry too much about this. Once I explain this, you will be able to understand. Okay. So in case if you have coding phobia, don't worry. It's a simple one. So I have my Jenkins file in my project code, correct? Fine. That's where you have to keep your Jenkins in your project code. Give the description. I don't want to write my script here. Instead, I want to take it from source code management tool. Pipeline script from SCM. Okay. Click on that. Okay, you selected the second option. Pipeline script from SCM. Fine. Okay. What source code management tool you are using? I'm using Git. Okay, fine. Where is that? What is your project repository URL? https://github.com/vk/yamat-2.git. Clear? Okay, fine. This is your repository path. In that repository, which file I have to execute? I want to take the code from source code management tool. What source code management tool you are using? Okay, what is your repository URL? In that repository, what is that file I have to execute? Usually it is Jenkins file. You can have different file name also. Okay. See, this is the file I want to script path. Here you have to give the file. If the file name is different, you can give the different file here. If this file, this is immediately inside the root directory, correct? This file, this is what I clone. It is here. If it is somewhere in A/B/C directory, for example, give that path. That's all. Save it. Finish. Build it. Now what will happen? Tell me. So the moment I run this, it will go and then execute this code, right? And then my code will build and deploy for me. Build number 1, red color mark, right? Failed. Click on that. Console output. See, clone is done. This is all about clone. It is building it. I'll show this to you later. Don't worry for now. It says maven command not there. See, I want to make it work first. I'll first make it successful. Then I will explain this to you. Okay. Expect little delay in today's class because that's expected. Okay. So I have to fix these things. It says maven command is not there. Maven command is there, no? Ambient hyphen version. Oh, maven is not installed here. I'm installing maven. For some reason, I have removed maven. Okay, I'm installing it. You must be having maven in your missions, right? I'm building it again. Go to console output. Let me first build it manually once mbn install. There are some issues here because I have what version of JDK I have? 17. Our project requires JDK 11, right? So let's configure JDK here. JDK 11 we have to configure, no? Understand this? We have to configure JDK 11. So where do you configure JDK? There should be one option here, right? Let's see how many versions of JDKs we have first. Where do you configure JDK versions? Manage Jenkins. Tools. JDK installations. Okay. JDK 11. Okay. JDK 11 is here. JDK 8 is here. But here it is not showing you the option to select the JDK. Since it is a new version of Jenkins, hence a lot of surprises. I have some commented code. I'm uncommenting that. Let me make it work first. It was commented before, so I'm just uncommenting it. So in Jenkins file, if you want to comment any code, we use this 2 slashes. Okay. When we execute this job, it will clone the Jenkins file from the Git repository, right? So I'm just modified and then I'm pushing it to Git. Let me make it work first, then I'll explain this. Failed again. So this is failing, okay? This deployment is failing because I'm deploying the code to this Tomcat server here. Home faculty distros Apache Tomcat 9093. Okay. But see, before you deploy the code, you should have the server ready, right? Correct. So let me create the server. The container is the Tomcat server is not there. So you know how to set up the Tomcat server, right? I'm launching Tomcat server. I'll explain this to you. Okay. So I'm deploying the code var file into Tomcat server. So Tomcat server is not there. Tomcat server is not there. So I'm starting Tomcat server. I'll just make sure that Tomcat is there. Home, why can't be? I'm removing the previous deployment. I just want to make sure that Tomcat is, I can run Tom service. Remember this SSH status start. Okay. Status, make sure that SSH is running. I just want to make sure that I'm able to start Tomcat server manually. The process is running, so I'll stop it. So before you practice this example, right? Before you practice this is my Jenkins mission, okay? And this is my Tomcat. So in this pipeline, I am deploying something. So I'm making sure that my server is present. So I'm deploying the code into Apache Tomcat 9093. What version I have here? 9098. 9098. So I have to modify the script. This is the old script, right? Now we have installed the new Tomcat. So 9098 is what I'm using. So when you practice this, right? If you have different Tomcat version installed, change it so that it can be deployed in appropriate folder. 9098. Okay, fine. 9098. Hit add Jenkins file. Now this will deploy the code. Should go fine. Let's see. And right, first time when you start, the server, you have to log into it manually once. 172.17.02 y_. So when you get this error, just copy paste it. Make sure that you're able to log into that. Yes, I'm able to log into that manually once. So Jenkins also should be able to. Let's see if it connects. Okay, done. Okay, so forget about what I've done so far. Okay. So we are discussing about pipeline projects. Okay. In pipeline project, we write the code. Code we write in Jenkins file, and then we configure it. Right. Done. Let me quickly configure it again. No confusions. This is how I create. I'm doing it creating from scratch. Gamma cart pipeline. I'm selecting pipeline project. Okay. Give some description. Production deployment pipeline. So I want to take the code from the source code management tool. Which source code management? Git. Where is it? Okay. In this particular repository, where is your script? Jenkins file. Save. That's how you configure it. Build it. So it execute that Jenkins file code. Accordingly, your process will be automated. Done. Clear with this? Any questions you have so far? Okay, so let's deep dive into this now. Okay, how do you write Jenkins file? So in Jenkins file, you can write code in two ways. You can write code in two ways. One, you can write the code in a pure groovy script. Let me call it as pure groovy script. Or there is something called declarative groovy syntax. GRU, sorry, whoa, VY. GRO, okay, groovy syntax. Declarative groovy script or declarative groovy syntax. You can use groovy script, pure groovy script you can write, or you can write declarative groovy syntax. Oh. Script in declarative syntax. So pure groovy script, declarative syntax groovy script. Can somebody tell me what is this declarative syntax? We use it in software, in multiple tools. What is the meaning of declarative syntax versus pure script?
We declare like constant value, the initial stage of.
Come again, Satish.
We declare the value in the initial stage of the coding itself.
No. Okay, say this. No, we write the script in a declarative way. Okay. So you can write the code in two ways. Okay, you can use a pure groovy script, or you can write the code in. You can follow declarative syntax and write the code. A pure script means what? You have to write the logic. For example, I write some Python code or some shell script code, or a groovy code or whatever. Assume that I want to write the code. Okay, this is a pure shell script or pure Python or groovy, or you can call it as a procedural, programming. I want to write the code for copying the file from one machine to another machine. I have a file. I want to copy this file from this machine to this machine. How to write the code? For example, shell script in a pure scripting way. First, what we do, we write the code to connect to this remote machine. You write some lines of code. Then you write some lines of code for checking the space. Before you copy the file, I want to check the space storage. Again, you write the code whether the directory where you are copying that file has a permissions or not. Permissions. I have to write some code. Again, I have to write the code, right, to check if it's a normal file or a binary file, for example. So a lot of things. So who is writing the code? You are writing the code. So this is pure scripting. It can be pure groovy script or pure shell script or pure Python or whatever. That means there are two things here. What and then how. What you want to do, how you want to do it. Right? What you want to do, and then how you achieve it, for example. What you want to do, how you get it done. What you want to do, what is your problem statement? I want to copy file from this machine to this machine. What I want to do. How you get it done? I am writing the code. I am logic for everything from scratch. This is your pure scripting way. This is called pure scripting syntax, pure script. But in Jenkins, what we write? We write declarative syntax, pure script. I don't know how to frame it. Script with pure. Okay, here you write pure groovy script. You can write. Okay, that means this. You can write, everything from scratch. Or you can also, here you can write pure groovy script, or you can write declarative groovy script. Now I think it is clear. You can write, where in Jenkins file. Hope you are following. So we write the code. This is a programming way, coding way of automating your processes, right? So here in Jenkins file, we write the code. This code can be pure groovy script. This code also can be declarative groovy script. Pure groovy means, assume that you are writing a groovy script. This is groovy. In groovy, this is a pure groovy, okay? You have to write the code to connect to this mission, right? Check the space, check the permissions, where is a normal file or what it is. So you have to write the logic. You are writing the logic, right? From scratch. Maybe 1,000, maybe 100 lines of code just to copy the file. How many lines of code you are writing for copying the file? 100 lines of code, because you are writing everything. That's pure groovy. But in order to speed up the things, right, and make things simple, Jenkins or many of the automation tools follow this way these days, declarative syntax. Don't have to explain this. This is like teaching you, the very basic thing, right? This is not a concept at all, but since you hear this very frequently and you know me, right? So I want to teach few terminologies also to you. Say, for example, right, this is pure groovy, right? In declarative groovy, you know what we do? See, same thing, I can get it done within, say, 2-3 lines. Copy, for example, file, source, file path, dest, file path, server 172.17.02. See, same thing I can achieve with 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of the code. Which one you like? Writing 100 lines or 4 lines? 4 lines is always better, correct? You can get the things done very easily, first thing, with simple code. And you don't have to have knowledge in the scripting also. Anybody can quickly write the code, quickly automate something. This is called as, this is pure groovy. This is declarative groovy. That means you are writing this groovy script in a declarative syntax. Declarative groovy. Why we call it declarative? Guess now? Because what is your problem? What you want to do? I want to copy file from this mission to this mission. That's your problem statement, right? If you write pure groovy, you also have to write the code logic, how it can be done. So this way, you are writing a lot of code. But here, are you worried about how it can be done? No, right? You are telling the system, you are telling Jenkins at a very high level about what you want. And then it is Jenkins which will get the things done for you. So here in declarative syntax, you just have to mention at a very high level what you want, that's all. The how part, it will take care. It has logic, it has intelligence. Here what I'm doing, copy file, right, from this path to this destination in the remote mission. This is the mission name. And are you writing the code for connecting, space check, permission, blah, 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 right? It says, you tell me what you want at a very high level. This is what, okay? At a very high level, you tell me what you want at a very high level. Means copy this from here to here. This is the server. You tell me what you want at a very high level. I will get it done for you. But in pure groovy, you have to do everything. So Jenkins says you write what you want at a very high level, right? In a declarative. So you are just declaring, I want this, I want this, I want this. It's just a declare. There is no how part there, right? You are not implementing things there. You're just declaring what you want. Declarative syntax. So I want this. So it says you write what you want in a declarative syntax. I'll get it done. So if you say this, if you write something like this, the original tool will take care of it. Jenkins in this case. In Ansible also we write declarative syntax. So Ansible says you write in declarative, I'm there for you. So that it has the logic for all those things. Chef, Puppet, right? Terraform. So all these tools follow declarative syntax. So that way it is, the burden is very less for on us, right? We can automate something very quickly without having a minimal scripting or programming knowledge. So in Jenkins file, you can write a pure Groovy script or declarative Groovy script. Clear with the difference? Two things. It allows you two things.
Is it like including predefined functions from Jenkins library?
Yeah, correct. So you are telling, you're right. You are telling copy source this, right? That means what? Jenkins must be having functionality for this, right? Jenkins must be having libraries, this code somewhere, correct? Yes, it has things for us. Again, there is a limitation here. Can somebody tell me the limitations of declarative Groovy? See, here you are giving copy, right? So Jenkins must be having that logic inside, Jenkins must be having, logic for copy, right? If it doesn't have copy, if it cannot do, you cannot write, correct? Again, there is a limitation here. What is the limitation? Whatever libraries they provide, whatever APIs, right? Whatever things they provide, you can use only them. What if this copy is not there in Jenkins, that library, or that functionality? You have to write the pure Groovy script that way. So Jenkins says, right, I have a lot of things. I have some intelligence already developed. You just say copy. You just use copy. I'll copy a file for you, right? If Jenkins, doesn't have this copy intelligence inside it, you cannot use it. It will not work, correct? So you have to write the pure Groovy. So it's the limitation again with the declarative syntax is what? Whatever API, whatever functionalities Jenkins give, you can use only them. And most of the times that is more than enough for us. Okay.
Yes, sir. Got it. So for that, it is also, it will be also case sensitive.
Yeah, case sensitive. It is case sensitive.
Okay.
Case sensitive, and then follows top-down execution approach. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Let me clear all this. So I'm going to write the Jenkins file in a declarative syntax. So you can call it as declarative pipeline. You can also call it as what? Declarative pipeline, because I'm writing the code in a declarative Groovy syntax. You can call it as declarative pipeline. There are two kinds of pipelines. One, declarative pipeline. Second thing, scripted pipeline. So how many pipeline types you have? Declarative pipeline. One, declarative pipeline. Second, scripted pipeline. Okay. So declarative pipeline and then scripted pipeline. Declarative pipeline. So this is declarative pipeline because I'm following declarative syntax. Declarative pipeline project. Okay. That means I'm going to write declarative syntax. Scripted pipeline means you are going to write a pure Groovy. You can also mix and match. So let's see how you write this Jenkins file. So this is my Jenkins file. Remember, it is a caps J as a convention. Jenkins file. Like in Docker, we have used Docker file, right? Capital D. Here it is Jenkins file. Docker file, and so on. Remember, now it's a coding, right? You need to remember a few things. Remember, Jenkins file always starts with something called pipeline. Pipeline start, pipeline end. Jenkins file should always start with something called pipeline. It's a keyword. Keyword means you cannot change it. You have to write pipeline. It's not that I write something on my own. No, it's a pipeline. Like in Maven, right? We write project in pom.xml file, right? Pom.xml file always starts with project. Here it is pipeline. Pipeline. Under pipeline, you write something called stages. Stages. This is a pipeline project, right? When you have some automation process, okay? In pipeline project, what we do is we try to separate different tasks as different stages. For example, clone is a separate task, correct? Clone is a separate task. Build is a separate task. Deployment is something different. Sending email is something different, right? So you call this as a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Based on the functionality, you divide your process as stages in pipeline. Pipeline project has another advantage compared to your freestyle. Assume that this is your freestyle project. So I have configured clone, I've configured build, deployment, okay, build for example, and then I configure the unit testing. Unit testing. This will compile the code and then create the var file. This will compile the unit testing code and then it will generate the unit test reports. And then, so here you have deployment, configuration, and then email. Clone takes 5 minutes, say for example. Build takes 30 minutes. Unit testing, maybe say 30 minutes. Deployment takes 30 minutes, assume. Email, few seconds. Maybe let's assume it as 5 minutes. Or few seconds, it's negligible, but let's assume 5 minutes. What's the total time? What's the total time it takes for build and deployment, deploying your project?
100 minutes.
Okay, 1.5, 60 plus 90, okay, 100 minutes. Yeah, you are very quick. 100 minutes. Correct? Okay. Now, first time I trigger this job. Clone is successful. Build is successful. Unit test is successful. Deployment has failed. How much time is spent? Right?
65.
65. Right? Yeah. So there was some issue during deployment. Your Jenkins was unable to connect to that Tomcat server, or there was no space in the Tomcat server. For some reason, deployment has failed. You fix the problem. Again, you run second build. Again, it will go, right? Again, you have to spend 5 minutes. Again, it will try to build. Again, it will try to unit testing. Why? Is that required? No, correct? See, when few things are already completed, why you want to trigger again? Not required, right? If it is a freestyle, this is the problem you face. You have to, it will try to attempt clone, build, unit test, and then again, it will try to attempt everything. You waste a lot of time, correct? First thing. And yeah, and you waste a lot of time there. If it's a freestyle, you know what happens? You can do this. Second time, when I trigger the job, I can tell Jenkins, okay, last time, wherever it was failed, start from there. I can tell Jenkins. I can tell Jenkins to directly go and then run deployment. So if I give deployment, it'll run the deployment plus all subsequent stages. So you save a lot of time, 35 minutes. Within 35 minutes, you can build, complete your pipeline execution. So you have this flexibility in your pipeline project. Freestyle doesn't have that flexibility. In freestyle, you can, trigger a stage 1, stage 2. You can trigger a stage where it was failed. But in freestyle, you have to start everything. Okay, done. So in pipeline project, what do we do? This is a pipeline project, correct? So we, we declare the tasks involved in the process as stages. Okay. Clone is a separate stage. Build is a separate stage. Then, say for example, I'll give deployment, for example. Deployment. And then email. So for build, what is that command we run? MVN install, right? Correct? Build means what? MVN install. If I run MVN install, what all things it will do? Tell me. One second. In pipeline script, I give clone. And then for build, I run this command, MVN install. For building, okay? So it will compile the main code, correct? It will compile the testing code. It will generates the reports, compile the main code, compile testing code. It generates the reports, and then it will create the package called var file. Email install. Then I'll get the deployment commands. Then email commands. I'm trying to explain the importance of splitting your automation steps as stages. Why you have to split your automation as stages. And remember, you should try to split your automation process, things involved in your automation as small as possible. As small as possible. Why? See this. Clone is done. Okay. Assume that I'm just running MN install for build. During build, I'm just running MN install. What is it doing? It is compiling the main code, compiling the testing code, generating the reports, creating the package. Then this is another stage. It will go here. Assume that clone is successful. Compilation is successful. Okay. Say compiling, a test case is also successful. Reports successful, right? This has failed. If you declare this as a stage, okay, stage 1. This is stage 2. What I'm going to say is your stage should be able to, right, execute something independent, and it should be as small as possible. Here, clone is a separate stage. Okay, build is a separate thing. Deployment is a separate thing. Email is a separate thing. Again, in build, see what you're doing. In build, what you're doing. You are again including multiple things, right? What is the problem with including multiple things? Assume that stage 1 is successful. Stage 2, it comes, right? In stage 2, it failed here. Again, we have an option here, right? What is that? You can trigger the failed one, right? You don't need to again start from scratch, correct? That's a advantage of pipeline script, right? Assume that I start from here. If I start from here, so all these things are part of one stage, correct? So again, it will execute this, correct? So if you split these 4 things in 2 stages, you save a lot of time, correct? So what I'll do here, instead of running ME install, right, the command directly, I will split the same thing in 2 ways. For example, in this particular stage, build stage, I will call it the build stage. In build stage, I will compile only the main code, and then I will create the package jar file. Again, I'll add one more stage, say unit test. So here I'll compile testing code, and then I will generate the reports. What I have done here, 4 steps was there, right? As part of the build. Min install was doing 4 steps. Now I have declared them as a separate stages. So what happens, tell me? For example, compile package, both are successful, right? And say test case compilation is failed. So I can start only this, right? Earlier, if you have 4 things here in one stage, what will happen? If you have 4 things in one stage, you trigger the stage, and then again that stage will have to execute all 4, irrespective of what was failed and things like that. So to save some time in pipeline, remember this is the best practice. Okay, I'm kind of when you write the pipeline, right? So if you follow this best practice, you can save a lot of time. So when you write the stages, don't do too many things on one stage. Don't do too many things on one stage. If you do too many things, assume that this is successful, this is successful, this successful. Next time, this got failed. Next time when you trigger the stage, since all these are part of one stage, it will execute all. What if you separate these things? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Right? Next time you can, since something failed here, you can trigger only this, and then you don't have to execute, things. So when you write the pipeline script, try to make stays as small as possible. So instead of doing instead of compiling the main code, creating the jar file, compiling the testing code, reports, instead of putting all these 4 in one stage, what I'm doing, I split them as 2 different stages, and it makes sense to me. Clone, build the main code, and then create the package, and then all my unit test things I'm doing in a separate stage. It's a different thing, correct? So don't give min install in your pipeline, because min install is doing the all. So I'm going to split that min install functionality in 2 things. I'll show the tape. So this is another advantage of pipeline. What is that? If something fails, you can start from that point only, and to get max benefit out of it, make sure that you have stages as small as possible. That's the best practice. Clear with that? So here, pipeline is what? Pipeline is the collection of stages. Now you remember the try to understand the meaning of the word pipeline. Pipe connects multiple things, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 pipeline. So that's when people got the pipeline. Pipeline involves multiple stages, multiple tasks of an automation, okay, of a process. So pipeline is collection of stages. So this is stages. Remember, it's a plural, okay? Stages. Stages start. Stages start. Stages end. Under stages, you can have multiple stages, right? Right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and so on. Simple. I am creating one stage first. Plural, singular. Stage. You have to give a name for your stage. Remember. It can be anything, okay? User defined. You can write anything here. Clone repository. Stage. Stage start. Stage end. Say I'm ending this here. This is the matching one. This is the matching one. It's not indentation sensitive, but for better readability, right? Follow that. Stages, stage 1. Under stage, you have to write something called steps. Stage in double quotes. Steps start, steps end. Steps start, steps end. Inside the step, you have to write your declarative command. Declarative groovy command. Declarative groovy script. For clone, Jenkins table says If you want to clone something, they say use this one, SCM checkout. This is your Groovy command, okay? SCM checkout. If it's SCM checkout, what it will do? It will clone the code from the given repository URL. We have already given the repository URL, right? We have already given repository URL here. So from the given repository URL, it will clone again. That's not mandatory. You will understand that by later. Okay. So it will clone the code. First stage is done. This is my first stage. Second stage, again, same thing. You can repeat the same thing. Okay. Stage. I'm giving a name for the stage now. Okay. Clone repository. And then I'll say build. Under stage, steps. Remember, steps start, steps end. Remember, you have to give a name for your stage. You have to give a name for your stage. Steps. Under steps goes the actual commands, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm calling maven command, okay? mvn install. And it's a command, right? If you want to run any command, you have to use something called sh here. Sh, and then you can give any Linux command here. Any command which you type on your terminal. So if you want to execute any command from your Groovy, right? You have to use what? sh. Sh followed by, you can give any command here. I want to run mvn install. Now you tell me what mvn install will do. It is doing a lot of things, correct? It is doing a lot of things, right? Compile the main code, compile the testing code, generate the package, reports, and then create the package. 4 things it is doing. I told you we have to try to make the stage as small as possible. So I'll do one thing. I will during this build stage, right? I'll compile only the main code and then create the package, and the test related things I'll separate. I'll write in a different stage. So I'm teaching you one new command here, okay? Mvn install will do anything. Now, how do you tell Maven to skip? How do you tell Maven to skip compilation of the testing code and then reports? We have not discussed this in Maven class, okay? If you want to tell Maven to skip test related things, just say -d. That's the option you have to pass. Mvn install -d. Maven skip maven.skip dot test is equal to true. Don't try to remember this at the moment. So what this will do, tell me, this command, hello Maven, please execute all, but skip this. Maven skip test is equal to true. That means it will not execute, it will not compile testing code, and then it will not generate the reports here. I skipped this here, right? Now I want to do that in a different stage. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Instead of writing, since there is no space, I'll write here. This is your stage 3. Again, same thing. It is stage. Give the stage name. I'll call it as unit test. Unit test. Okay. Stage start, stage end. Okay. Stage start, stage end. Stage start, stage end. Under stage, it is mandatory. Okay. You have to follow the syntax. Step start, steps end. And here you can give any command. Okay. Here I have with this. Now we have skipped this unit test related thing, right? Now I'll call them here. Command for that is this. sh. It's a terminal command, right? I'll say mvn, sorry. mvn, okay. mvn compiler colon test compile mvn surefire colon test. Don't try to remember these 2 commands. sh here, sh here. So if you observe this, writing Jenkins file is very easy, isn't it? It has to start with the pipeline, has to end with, has to end with the matching flower bracket. Pipeline start, pipeline end. Stages plural. Under stages only, you have to write all the stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Again, if you remember this, you can write any script. Stages. Under stages, you have stages. Correct? Under stage, you have steps. Under steps, you write the actual command. That's all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stages, stage, steps, the actual command. Okay. So first stage, clone repo. It will clone the code. It will build the code. Right? During the build stage, what I'm doing, I am compiling the main code and then creating the jar file, creating the var file. Sorry, I'm skipping the test cases. There is another stage here. So here I'm calling the test compile code, test compile step, and then generating the reports. If you want to compile only the test cases, you have to say compiler colon test compile, surefire colon test. You try to remember later. Now assume that there are some commands. There is there are some maven commands using which I can call only the test compile phase and then report generation. Similarly, you write another stage for deployment. So that's how you write the Jenkins file. This is the declarative syntax, correct? See, I'm not doing much, right? I'm writing, am I writing, are we following complex syntax here? For loop, or statement should end with the semicolon, colon, blah, 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 blah. It's a very simple syntax. Declarative syntax means it's a simple syntax. If it's a pure Groovy, you can write the pure Groovy script also here. Pure Groovy script is again very powerful because you can do anything there, right? Understand this Jenkins file? Shall I show this to you? Shall I show this code?
Yes, sir.
So a quick summary. You have not done any coding so far, right? Don't worry. If you write this Jenkins file a couple of times, you will understand. And this is not very difficult. So we're discussing about the pipeline project today. There are two kinds of pipelines, declarative and scripted pipeline. In declarative pipeline, we write declarative syntax. We use the declarative syntax. That is very easy to write, easy form of scripting. Or we can write pure Groovy also, right? So we write the code in Jenkins file. In Jenkins file, we write different stages. I don't call it a task. I call it stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, and so on. Depends on what you are automating. Try to make the stages as smaller as possible because you have an option, right? Using which you can execute only the failed stage. So if you have this, if you're doing less things, then it will become very flexible, right? And this is how you write the Jenkins file. Pipeline stages, different stages, and this is the thing. If you follow this, right, you can write anything here. So this is my project, pipeline project. Okay. So how do you create, right? Pipeline project. So how do you create it? So give the description. Okay. And then select this option. I have the code in Git, give a repository. In the repository, where is it? Immediately in that gamut card 2 only, I have this. So if it is in, say, under gamut card 2, for example, I have A directory, I have B. Under B, Jenkins file is there. So here you give A, B, C. So you have to give this a path which is relative to your project folder. That is gamut card 2 in our case. Jenkins file, save it, execute it. The moment you execute, what happen? It will go to the Jenkins file, and then I have different stages here. It is running all the stages, stage 1, stage 2, and so on. Okay, what is that code it is executing in our case? Let me show that to you. So manually clone this, okay? So this is a Jenkins file. It is executing. You know this, right? Pipeline start, pipeline end, matching one. Stages start, stages end, stages start, stages end. First stage, steps. Under that goes actual command. Stage has a name, clone repository. Second stage, build. Stage steps command. So I'm skipping the test cases. If you want to skip the test cases, -d maven test skip is equal to true. This is the option you have to use. No space around -d. D means, remember this way. Hello maven, please execute install. You won't interrupt it now. Okay. -d. I'm dynamically passing some configuration. -d means dynamically passing a variable. So if you pass this variable, maven test skip is equal to true, it will not compile the testing code and then it will not generate the reports. Otherwise, what maven install will do, maven install command will do by default, compile, test compile, generate the reports, create the package, right? And so on. So then whatever I'm skipping, I'm calling them here. Stage, steps. So this is the name I'm giving. See, now you try to remember if you want. So if you want to call only the test compile phase, if you want to compile only the testing code, you have to use this compiler : run only the test compile. Surefire : test. This is for generating the reports. This is for compiling the testing code. I'll explain this later to you. Then go to the deployment, stages, steps. And if you want to execute any command here, you have to use sh. See this, what it is doing. Same command we have used, right, in a freestyle project, correct? Same command we used there, right? SCP, right? Target gamma.var. Copy that to this mission. This is the path, web apps. Same thing, same command, copy paste. Be careful, right? So when you practice, make sure that your IP address is this, and then Tomcat server is the same. Because see, you are executing this script, cloning my repository, but you don't have this one, and then this is not matching, right? So make sure that, see, you create a container, right? Tomcat container, Tomcat server, right? So if that IP address is different, then give this IP address. Okay. And then what it is doing, it is connecting to that mission and then running Tomcat server. So I'm achieving clone, build, unit test, deployment. And see this, if you go to your gamut card pipeline, right? You can, so this is the latest build, right? Second build, click on that. See, this is my pipeline. Okay. Second build. There is one option here, pipeline overview. What's that option? Pipeline overview. Pipeline overview. Click on that. See, whatever stages you have, it is showing you all the stages graphically here. Started. You are cloning the code. You are cloning the code. Then you are, I'll explain this too later, leave it for now. So this is your stage, okay? What we have given? Clone repository. So whatever stage names you give, same thing will appear in your Jenkins. So give some meaningful name here for your stage so that you can understand. Okay. See the clone repository, build, unit test, build, unit test, deployment. Okay, this is your deployment. So you can also see the stages. So tool install is there, right? So it is actually we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stages. Okay. But it is also showing, I mean, it's just, it's just showing you things in detail. That's all. Okay. So these are the 4 things four stages we declared. If you go to second build again, if you click on this, to pipeline steps. This is again, elaborative way of looking at things. Start of pipeline. So where is our stage? This is added newly. It's showing you the stage completed in 16 seconds. So it's it's a more detailed thing. If something goes wrong, if your job fails, it'll show you in the red color, and then you can directly click on that, and then you can see. Good, right? It is showing you things in an elaborative way. But quickly, if you want to see, these are the stages. Pipeline overview. Done. Now, this particular gamut cart pipeline requires JDK 11. This requires JDK 11, correct? Click on that. Is there any option to select JDK 11? You remember in the pipeline, in the freestyle project part we have done, it was showing one option here, correct? Wherein using which you can select the JDK. It was showing you a drop down. So where you can select JDK 8, JDK 9, JDK 11. So here you cannot select. There is no option because it's a coding way, right? So how do you select the JDK in case of pipeline projects? Okay, where we have installations? Where you have installations? Here. We have installation in Manage Jenkins tools, right? These are the installations we have. One is JDK 11, one is JDK 8. So how do you select this in pipeline project? It is not showing you option here, right? Graphically, right? You are unable to, you cannot select the JDK graphically here. No. So you have to select it from your Jenkins file, from your code. So how do you select these JDKs from your code? Using code. Tools. That's our key. Remember this, tools. If you want to access, if you want to load these versions, okay, from your tools section. Tools, you see here, tools, remember that way, at least. Tools is the keyword. So tools, this is under JDK, right? If you want to select the JDK versions, JDK is a keyword. You have to write JDK. It's a keyword, means there's a rule, you have to follow that. JDK. Tools, JDK, and then whatever you give here, name, you can select that here. You have to give, I'm giving JDK 11. So what it will do? It will take JDK 11. If you want this path, JDK 8, what I do? I use JDK 8. So whatever you type in name here, same thing you have to give here. That's how you select tools. For example, I want to select a particular Maven. What do I do? Here I'll say tools Maven. For Maven, it is Maven, and then Maven versions. Whatever Maven version I have given, 399. So it will take the Maven from that path. So you know how to select JDK versions, Maven versions, which you declared in your Manage Jenkins tool. Since that option is not shown, right? Graphically, you cannot select. This is how you load a particular JDK version required for you. If you remember, it was loading a different JDK, then there was a failure, right? So I came here and then I enabled it. Clear with these tools? Any questions about the tools or about these stages?
So here we have we only mention only one JDK because there we have options, right? JDK 11, JDK 8.
I want to take only JDK 11, so I'm selecting only JDK 11. Okay. You cannot select multiple JDKs for one project, right? So I'm selecting only one. If I say JDK 11, It will go to the JDK11 path, and then it will use this. It will use this. It will, since I mentioned JDK11, it will use this path for building this project, Gamma card pipeline.
Okay, sir. So this file is only for one project.
This is only for one project, right? For each project, we have to write each separate Jenkins files. This is only for our Gamma card pipeline project. This is only for one project.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. This is commented, okay? If you want to comment something in your Groovy, you use // If you want to load any environment variable which is declared in your .bashrc, you can use this, but it's not required at the moment. Leave it. And there's one more line. Isn't any means what? I am okay to run my project, this project, on any agent. There is no tie-up between your job and then agent mission. In case if you have master-slave concept, if you have master-slave architecture, right, in your project. So again, the question comes, right, where you want to build this agent. Any means this project will go and run on any agent. If you want to particularly run this project on an agent, for example, this needs a special configuration, right? I have those special configurations in agent 3 mission, for example. I want to run that on agent 3. What do? We mentioned label, right? Correct? Remember the last session? Master, right? Agent 1, agent 2, agent 3, correct? So you have a project, blah, blah, some configuration. I want to run this particular project only on this agent. What do? We create a label, right? Label L1, say, for example. We give the L1 here. If it's a freestyle project, we give the L1 here. So whatever label you have, same label you give in your project. So when Jenkins executes this, it will go and then execute the project on that labeled agent only. This is how you configure in freestyle project, graphical way. Freestyle project is all about configuring things in graphically, but here it is coding way, right? So here, how do you select? In job, we have to mention the label name, right? Correct? In job, we have to mention the label name. So if it is a freestyle, graphically you mention there. We have seen that in last class. If it is a pipeline project, give that label here. L1, for example. Agent any means you are not tying up the job with a particular agent, and then if you want to tie up, if you want to run this on a particular agent, and then give that label name. Likewise, you have different things pipeline. Now you can ask me, right? What is this agent? Tools, environment, stays, steps, checkout SCM. So where are these things? Where I can see all these things? Checkout SCM. So if you want to see the syntax of the pipeline project, just type in Google. Just say pipeline Jenkins pipeline project. Pipeline. See here, you can see the document, declarative pipeline start, pipeline end. So there is some sample code, agent any. I have copied the same skeleton from here and then modified according to our project requirements. So there is some options here. There is something called timeout. Time counter starts after agent is allocated, right? So timeout, time 1 unit seconds. What is this timeout doing here? You can read the documentation. In agents declared at the top level, of pipeline, we have the agent any agent label we can give, right? An agent is allocated, and then timeout option is applied. The time to allocate the agent is not included in the limit set by the timeout. So if I think looks like it is, if the job is not allocated to run on particular agent, right? I think if it is not allocated, I think it'll wait for some time. If it is not, then it'll go to another agent or something like that. There are a few things you can read all the stuff. Our example is from here. There are a lot of things here. See, they are doing something, okay? So this guy, see, stages, right? See, he's running this particular stage, right? This task on this agent, running this stage on different thing. So when you have different stages, you can run different stages on different agents also. My thing is this. See this. Stages, stage, right? Steps. Build stage, test stage, deploy stage. This is what, this is how our Jenkins file looks like. You can read what is 1, what is 2, and all the stuff. You can refer this basically. So you know what is pipeline, the best practices, right? Why we use it, and the pipeline script syntax, declarative or pure Groovy syntax. Now, based on the requirement, you have to refer the document and then select the right keyword, right? For example, tools, right? Right keyword and then write this. I'll try to show you one more. I have only one example for a pipeline, only one project for our Gamut card. Since your batch people are little, you people are little bit interested in coding most of the times, or you understand the coding better than other batch people, I will also prepare one more pipeline script for different scenario. Okay. So now go to Jenkins pipeline project. This is how you build it. Okay. And if you want to see the output, just give me another 5 minutes. Go to 3 console output. You can see all your output here. MVN install, skip Maven test, right? That is one stage. So you can see all the stages here basically. Okay. And if you go to 3, right? Go to pipeline overview. So this is our clone repository, correct? First stage, clone repo. Actually speaking, you don't need to write this stage, okay? This clone repo stage is not required. Clone repo stage is not required. See, this is our stage, right? Clone repo, build, unit test, and deployment. See, it is automatically checking out. It is automatically cloning the repository. It is automatically cloning the repository. So this is not required. Since we are learning, I just want to clone it again, okay? So it automatically clones. Clone stage is not required because it automatically clones. Why it is automatically cloning? Why it is automatically cloning? Where is Jenkins file? Jenkins file is the basic execution unit, right here, correct? So it needs Jenkins file, correct? And where is that Jenkins file? It is in some repository, correct? So for that, to access the Jenkins file, it is cloning automatically. So clone happens automatically. You don't need to give a stage. So that is the reason. Here you see clone again. And for this tool also, it is declaring it as a stage. See, more information, more good for us, right? So it is also showing you as a stage. Think it as the internal stage. These are our things. I just want to think loudly here. So it is giving you more information. That is one clarity. Now, the important thing. Assume that clone repo, build, tests. Assume that clone is complete, build is complete, and then unit test has failed. How do I start only unit test? That flexibility is there. That's the advantage we get with pipeline, correct? I want to assume that this has failed. I want to execute only that, only this. How do you execute it? For example, I'm building a new one. I'm taking the new build. In this 4th build, assume that unit test stays failed. I fix the issue. Then if I want to start only from that, I want to start only from the last failed stage. For example, unit test has failed. I want to start only from here. Go to that build. Okay. Here only it got failed, right? Now I fix the failed. I fix the problem. Once I fix the problem, if I want to trigger only a particular thing, go here. Restart from a stage. In fourth build, unit test stage failed. I'm restarting only that. Restart from stage. See, all your stages are shown here. Clone repo, right? Build. Now you understand why I asked you to give the meaningful name, right? Unit test deployment. So whatever you give there, it is showing you here automatic. I want to trigger only this unit test. Run it. Here it is running, right? Fifth one. Go here. Go to pipeline overview. See that graphical thing. See, it started from unit test and deployment. Is it executing the clone repo again? No. Blue means it is not executed. Okay. So you started from here. So this one plus all subsequent next task will be executed. Whatever you give plus all next subsequent ones. These two are anyway default one, right? So it is running default one. But is it running the a script one? No. If you select deployment, it will execute only the deployment. Assume that now again deployment has failed. What do I do? So here deployment failed, right? I'll go to fifth build. I'll say restart from stage. I'll select only the deployment. It will execute only the deployment now. So go to the sixth one, right? And then pipeline overview. See, only deployment is executed. Repo, build, unit tests are not done. Only deployment. And these two are anyway default. Leave them. So that's how you can restart a failed stage. Clear with this? Any questions you have so far? Practice, or take this again. Okay, watch this class video again and take your own time. And if you still have any confusions, you can ask me. Okay. So one last thing here. I go on mute. Somebody is not in mute. Say for example, this is my Jenkins, right? Correct. This is our freestyle project, right? Gamut cart. Go here. Do you see unit test reports? Do you see unit test reports here? No. I want to take you to the project. Okay. This is our project, right? This is our project. How do you build it? MVN install. You know this. MVN install, right? What will happen when I execute MVN install? Hope you remember. It will compile the main code, compiles the testing code, right? Generates the reports, creates the var file, then copies that var file into document. So these many things it is doing, right? And say, for example, I will go to MVN install. Okay, this is JDK, so leave it. So where it will generate the reports? Tell me. Target. Where it generates the reports? Surefire reports, right? Correct. The Surefire reports. So in Surefire reports, what is there? What is there in Surefire reports? Our test reports, right? You forget that concept. This is my Flipkart project folder. Under that you have src, main, test, Java, group ID, correct? Java, group ID. Under that you have the main code. Here you have the unit testing code, right? This is main code. This is unit testing code. Flipkart. And what happens when I type in install command? It will first execute a phase called compile phase. Then test compile phase. Then test. Then package. Then install. We call them as targets or phases, correct? What will happen during compile phase? It will compile the main code. During test compile, it compiles the testing code. Then what? During this phase, it compiles the testing code, right? It executes the code. So when you execute this code, it will test the main code and then it will generate the reports, right? How many test cases you have, how many pass, how many fail, and so on, correct? Right? So I want to publish those reports. Where are the reports stored? Here. In a text file it is there. See, you have one test case, 0 failure, 0 runs, and so on. You also have the result in XML format here. You see, same thing, the text result format. This is XML. It is showing the result in XML format. So developers come to our Jenkins, right? Testers also come to our Jenkins and then see the build and deployment status, and then they want to see. They will come to you and then say, "Can you show me the unit test reports here itself?" How do you show unit test reports? That's the question. If it's a freestyle project, this is how you can show. Gamut cart, configure, go to post build actions. What's it? Post build actions. Here you have an option here. See this? Publish JUnit test result report. Click on that. You have to give the path where you have the reports. Where we have the reports? Target, surefire reports, and then insert that XML, correct? See what I'm doing here. Target. Under target, I'm selecting any directories. It's recursive, okay? There may be any directories. Read all directories because sometimes in real time, you may be having reports in different directories. Okay. Star means select any directory. Recursively traverse through all those directories. Pick files which end with .xml. Star means name can be anything. So target, go to any number of directories, right? Search all directories, load all XML files, save it, build now. So what Jenkins will do now? Jenkins will go and then read that XML file and then it will publish the reports. We are executing this on this agent, right? So we don't have that agent. So I'm just build now. Create. Now you see here, test result time. It was not there before, correct? It was not there. So we are typing image install, right? It is generating the reports. Where are the reports? Reports are in those XML files. So if you want to show those reports on Jenkins dashboard, right? What you have to do? Go to configure. Go to configure, post build actions, go here, publish unit test reports, and then we have the reports in the target. read any number of directories. File name can be anything, star, read all XML. So it will read those XMLs and then it will show you the reports here. Now you see, passed 1, skipped 0, failed 0. So it is showing you the trends. This will be very helpful for your testing team. So testers and developers also. So if they want to analyze the test reports, they'll come here and they can see the graph. This is how you show the test reports in freestyle project. What if I want to do the same thing in pipeline project? 6th build. Where is that? Because we ran only few stages here, right? We skipped the stages, no? So I'm building it again, full build. Stages, test results. So how I'm displaying the results here in pipeline? If it is a freestyle project, you go to post build action and then you select that. If it is a pipeline, I'm leaving environment. So in pipeline, if you want to showcase the results, unit test reports, this is the command you have to use, JUnit. JUnit. You remember the same path we have given in the freestyle project, right? Here also you get the same thing. So this particular command, declarative command, will go to this path, reads all .xml, and then it will show you. So this is coding way. And in freestyle project, you go to post build actions and then you do that. So that's what it is doing. This is basically publishing unit test reports. So you know how to publish unit test reports in a pipeline project as well as freestyle project. Freestyle project is the graphical. When there you select the things graphically. Here you select. Here you write the code. Likewise, right? There are different declarative keywords you can refer, and then based on the requirement you can write the script. Since it is a coding way, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. So for complex workflows, right? For complex automations, processes, select the pipeline. For simple one, freestyle. Try to prefer freestyle first. Don't think that I know the coding and then I'll go and then do anything, right? I know the coding, I will do this. You are good, boss, but you have to think about the future also, correct? So what if the future resources don't know the coding and something went wrong? And it's a production deployment. During production deployment, something went wrong, and then there is a complex script you have written, and the person don't understand. Not good, right? What if you had used a freestyle project? It's a production build, production deployment. Person understands the things very easily. Person fixes the things very easily. So don't unnecessarily go with the pipeline, but it is very flexible. So that's how you decide which one you want. These are all not in use. So I'll give the best example why to solve the things with a simple step first. Correct. I was having a student in Singapore. Okay. So there was no DevOps team. So my student joined there first as a DevOps engineer. So since there was no DevOps team, a development team used to handle all DevOps related stuff. And there was a developer, okay, Java developer he was. And then this guy, for anything you take, this guy started writing pipeline script. And in fact, not even declarative. See the thing again. If it's declarative, you understand. What if for doing the same thing, you write code, pure Groovy code? guy is Java developer. This guy, for him, writing Groovy code is very easy because Groovy is kind of Java only. Okay. So for everything he wrote, Groovy, pure scripts. When she joined, she was unable to understand. She had to learn Groovy, right? And she was unable to solve the issues fatafat, correct? And it, impacts on your deployment deliveries, a lot of things, right? Because it takes the time for you to fix. So don't do that mistake. So that is a thing. And yeah, that's how you select freestyle and then pipeline. Clear with the pipeline projects, with the concept. Any questions you have?
Here we use XML file for the test report. Can we use text files also, or only XML is accepted?
Only XML. Jenkins understands only XML. It doesn't understand text. Jenkins stores everything in XML format in the backend, right, Logic? So it understands only XML. Here also it's XML only, not text. It doesn't know how to crawl text.
So one question.
We use XML configurations file for loading information to the systems, tools, systems, softwares. So that is the purpose of XML syntax, right? Yes, Shankar. Satish, sorry.
Yeah, sir. You talk about declarative style, right?
Mhm.
So when we write that in the beginning of the that script, can't we put those declarative style in a different file and keep give a reference file in the Groovy?
Okay, you want to write the code in multiple files. You can do that.
Just a declarative.
Okay, before that, it's a different thing. Okay. So if the scripted pipeline, you know what we do? We'll be having declarative plus pure Groovy also. We both mix. That is called a scripted pipeline. Scripted pipeline means it's not that you have only pure Groovy. You have declarative plus pure Groovy. Very simple. If you're using Groovy code somewhere, think that it's a scripted pipeline. That is declarative is also there. Okay. Your question, Satish?
Yeah, that's what while doing declarative configuration. So whatever the declarative style, the syntax is whatever you type, can't we put it in a separate file, and in the original file we just give a reference, link like we do it href, and then like that we can't
You can do that. Like basically, like you were talking about, I write, like how you write the Java code in multiple files and then import them.
Yeah, for example, um, what is it? They call it
Understand? You have one function in one file.
boilerplate kind of thing, they add, right? So, for example, HTML CSS. Okay, so CSS can be inline or can be, as a .css file and give a href and then give the link, right? Like this.
Can be done. No issues. So you can do that. Just place all those files here and then import them using a Groovy code. For that, you should know the Groovy language, Groovy script.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Please note, I've spent 2 hours today's class, okay, instead of 1 hour. That's how I try to compensate the missing classes. Please note it. Since there was a question, I want to be little clear with this. Anyway, leave it. I don't mind too much about that. Any questions you have?
Sir, at first when we started the configuration for pipeline, there we have got one option, one text area where on that place only we they are saying to write the code. So yes, hello.
Okay, what's the question there?
When we first went to the page for configuration. Here,
Yeah, this one.
there is an option before including the file. Yes, pipeline
This.
script.
Mhm.
If we write the same code here, it will work in same way or it is a different approach?
It will work. See this code stays. It works. You can write the code here. But usually we don't write here because reading and all those things are very difficult. Okay. But no, we use it for say, for example, you want to quickly troubleshoot something, right? You want to write some quick, you want to write some code quickly, and then see, if you want to quickly write something and then test something, this is the best thing because you want to do the things very quick, right? Otherwise, you have to write the file, go there and commit it again, trigger and all the stuff, right? So you can write the thing directly here, yes.
And in
But-
this approach, it will work for a single project.
Yeah,
Can
this is
we?
one only project.
Yes, sir. We can include the Jenkins file for multiple projects. Same
No,
Jenkins file.
no. Same Jenkins file you can refer. The Jenkins file path you can refer in multiple projects, but same Jenkins file will not work for all the projects, right? Mostly, correct? Different project, different process. So we'll write different Jenkins file and then we'll place that Jenkins file in that project source code and then we refer it. Usually. Yeah.
Okay, sir. For similar projects, we can include this.
Yes. Same file path you can give in multiple projects also. You can refer. Okay.
So this script, sir, one question. The script what it shows now is just a sample script, right? We have to customize it as per the requirement.
Yeah, correct. This is just a sample script. See, try sample script. Hello world one, right? If you want to write your own scripted pipeline, you can write here. I never wrote there, but you can do.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Aruna asked a question last time, I think related to Aruna. You asked a question about a pipeline, right? What was that?
Actually, you covered or not, I don't know. First 40 minutes I
I-
missed. I have call 9 to 10 client call, so I missed. So let me listen today's class. Tomorrow I will ask.
I think I covered that already. Okay. I postponed,
Okay, thank
right? So see this. You asked, I think this is the question. Okay. When I have multiple things, clone, build, unit test, deployment, and email. If deployment fails, if something fails, can I re-trigger only that? I think that was your question. You
Yes.
just the recording and let me know.
Yeah, you can upload after this. Then tomorrow I can go and let you know if I have any doubts.
Yeah, it will be uploaded as usual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Sir, in that case, that regarding Aruna's question, so in based on, we have to check where, at which stage it got failed, and from there we have to manually run it, right?
Yes, correct.
So there's no automated process, where it would be checking and then.
Again, same thing. If you feel that again,
yeah.
sorry to
Okay.
cut you.
Yeah.
Same thing. Again, if you feel that some stages, there's a possibility, for a stage to get failed very frequently, you can add that retry option for stage only for that stage.
Okay.
Retry.
Okay. Yeah.
So that I have shown you the code, right? There was a retry 3 yesterday when we were looking at the sample code. So something like that you can do.
Yeah, in this, they are using any agent, right? In that script. In the beginning itself, they were asking you agent underscore any, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you're showing that from it won't be showing starting from the beginning. It will be
You want me to show that retry option? You want me to prepare a project? sample project use case, I can show that to you. I'll try because I have to sit and write that. I'll see if I can show that to you, Satish.
Okay, no problem. So if you have time, otherwise I will try myself. No problem.
Okay, I'll try to prepare a sample project for that, a sample use case. I'll try my level best if I get some time. Otherwise, you can explore.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So retries is stage name. Okay, mission got closed because of the charging issue. I'll try to prepare an example for that, Satish. Okay.
Yeah, so, sir. In that case, what I'm looking is, first the retry 3 options what they mentioned, right? So the third time, if it is failing, then I wanted that to be run in any agent. Got the point, right?
There you can also see, you can also tie up a stage to be executed on a particular agent. Okay.
Okay.
So you can tie, if you are not, if the stage is not stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 you can run on agent 1, stage 2 on agent 2, stage 3 on agent 3. You can also do that. Mostly we don't do that way. Okay. So if you configure that, it will go and then try to run on only that stage for retrace, during retry also. Right? If you don't have agent allocated for a particular stage, then it will go to any mission and then it will get executed.
Okay.
Any follow-up questions, Satish, on that?
That's it. We need to explore. That is when we understand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good night.